Nah, wait a minute.
Oh, we live. Oh.
Stop. Nah, wait a minute.
All right. I don't know why this is looping. This is hilarious. This is actually very funny.
There's
all right.
something in the air.
I don't.
Nobody knows.
This is so funny.
Okay. This is very weird. But anyway, hi guys. I hope you guys are well. I don't know what just happened, but hey, we got an intro. It's all a thing, and I'm excited. I don't know why I know what's happening. I know exactly what's happening.
I'm glad.
I'm going to tell you.
Here's
the problem. The problem is you should not have your YouTube stream live playing while you're doing this. It drives you crazy. Anyway, what's up, guys? This is what happens when you're live and we're trying new things. But welcome to the Faction Reloaded. I am your host, Gerard Bonner. I've got my crew with me, and we're about to have a fun time here on the show. The gang is all here, of course. We've got Wrestling with Honey. She is in the building. The councilman is in the building, Will Farrow. And, of course, James White is here. Guys, how are you?
Fantabulous. Thank you, Professor. Hope you guys had a good week.
I am more tired than Ric Flair's blade, but I am here.
You know, that could have gone a lot of places.
You know what?
Really could have.
You know what?
Really could have. Hang in there, honey.
That could have gone so many places.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Will. Will's about to pull out.
That could have gone.
Yeah.
Considering I was watching the Four Horsemen documentary, the biography on A&E this week, that just adds a whole bunch more to it. So pretty crazy. Councilman, how are you, sir?
I was doing good till he said that, because we literally was just talking about Ric Flair like 20 minutes ago, and that shit came up. And I was like, that's today's theme today. Then that's what this is today. That's today's theme. Got it.
Yeah,
Understood.
That's absolutely hilarious. Well, shout out to everybody who's joining us live and who will be joining us. We are grateful that you're with us on a Saturday, and there's plenty to get into. So let's not delay. Let's hop into this right now. Of course, this time last week, Backlash was happening. We were wondering what would happen. We were wondering about an announcement and all of the things. Well, we know some answers and we have some questions. So before we get into the announcement, I want to get into probably the one piece of news that has had everybody in a bit of a tizzy, and we don't really know what to make of it. The match, of course, Io Sky versus Asuka, a match that, quite frankly, many of us probably think should have happened at WrestleMania. Be that as it may, the match happens at Backlash, a phenomenal match. It ends with a very emotional embrace between Io and Asuka. And many were left wondering, is this the swan song for Asuka? We follow that Monday night on Raw, where literally Io says goodbye to Asuka, and her parting shot is Asuka with her bags walking out of the arena. So here's the first question right off the top. Have we seen the last of Asuka? Councilman, what say you?
I don't think so. I've mentioned this week on other podcasts and platforms, man. It's kind of like I gotta find the right analogy for everybody. It's like Rambo. Rambo has finished his mission. 10 years have passed, and it's like, Rambo, we need you back. The city needs you. That's what we gonna find Asuka. Asuka gonna be on a boat with her kids, fishing, chilling, enjoying life, and they're gonna be like, Asuka, we need the Empress of Tomorrow. We need her. The lands have just gone chaotic, and we need you right now. Because this is the question I asked, and again, we can answer this after you finish with everybody. But I had posed the question: does the wrestling world right now need Asuka?
Do we want to dare jump into that question?
I mean, James, you could go. Councilman and I, we've spoke this numerous times this week, but go ahead, you go.
Wow. Let me first say that was a dream match of mine.
Mm-hmm.
These are two of, in my opinion, two of the 5 greatest women's wrestlers of all time, in my opinion. And on the first time 2 Japanese women wrestled each other on the WWE PLE. So this is historic. Asuka is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm actually glad this match didn't happen at WrestleMania, because only 3 matches that happened at WrestleMania went over 10 minutes, and this wouldn't have been one of them. So I would have gotten mad if they would have cheated us out of the time that they needed to wrestle like they wrestled at Backlash. They deserved that. They deserved that spot. I thought they told a great story, student versus teacher. I love that spot on the table where EO blocked the mist, and just the cinematic work of them selling that, the shock of it, and I found you out, the type deal, and just awesome. Classic match. Absolutely loved it. We have to remember that Asuka / Kana is in her mid-40s.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember that. And, women don't get that type of run like the men do in their 40s. So what I am surmising, just based on what I've read and how they've tabled that with that scene there on Raw, is that if she's able to come back after whatever she needs to do going back home, then possibly. But this could be a goodbye. But it won't be like the same situation where they're cutting people, or a contract. This is a personal issue that she needs to go back home. She has a whole family in Japan. Okay, we have to remember that. She is a mother, and she has a whole family in Japan. And so being that she's done everything you could do, Grand Slam champion, mixed match challenge champion,
champion.
Come on.
5-time tag team champion,
List them.
Crown champion.
List them. Yes, she's done everything you can do.
Women's Royal Rumble winner.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to survive in the WWE that is entertainment based without being primarily speaking English, and to evolve as a character and still be one of the most respected people there. They may not have done well by her storyline wise, but they've always taken care of her personally. This could be it. It all depends on what the matter is that she's attending to going back home. So first of all, just as a parent, I just wish her well and just pray that all things are settled, and hopefully we can see her again. But if we don't, she's given us a Hall of Fame career.
So with that said, honey, to Councilman's question, does 2026 and the pro wrestling movement need Asuka?
Yeah, when discussing with this earlier this week with Will, I would have to also agree that this could be a goodbye. There's a lot of reports saying that she's taking time off, or they're not sure if she's still retired and whatnot. But regardless of what, if she is retiring, let it be so, because everybody in this career and in this business not everybody has the opportunity to be able to end on their terms, because this seems like it was definitely on her terms, and she wanted to make sure it ended with EO, someone who she said on Monday she's passing the torch to. So that's saying a lot, and we've seen literally both of those women grow up in the business in real time, and seeing how far they both come now. They're, like James said, first ballot Hall of Famer, and EO's well on her way. We've seen the workhorse that she is. Her and Asuka have definitely created such a great dynamic throughout their time in WWE. But I'm going to be sad to see her go. But if she is, then let it be so, because she's deserving of that. And like James said, with all the things, being a parent, being a mom, being away from your family, traveling from city to city, country to country all the time, You know, if it's time, then let it be time. And she's given us what she's got, and we've loved every minute of it.
So I don't know if we've answered the question whether or not this version of the wrestling world needs Asuka or not.
I don't think it's a matter of need. That's difficult. Also, we have to table this by how long she's going to be out as well.
Which we don't know.
We don't know. You know, if this is a year or two, I would expect to see her back. But if this is a long-term situation, being that she's in her mid-40s, then, you know, but it also depends on storyline. Are you going to take this person serious? You know, we saw this, and we'll, you know, I won't, you know, bury the lead here, but we saw how with Backlash, all it takes is concentration, and you can build up a main event character in a matter of weeks. So, and she has the chops to do it. She's one of the best to ever do it in the ring, and she has the type of character outside of the ring. So it all depends on, you know, how well are we taking the women? You know, how seriously are we taking the women? And, you know, is that worth? Because that's a name. That's a name. A victory over Asuka still means something in 2026.
So let me ask this question, because we're in an interesting era. I mean, if we just go back the last 5 to 6 months, if this is indeed a retirement for Asuka, in the last 6 months, we have lost John Cena, Hiroshi Tanahashi, AJ Styles, and now Asuka. And I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar. I knew I was missing somebody. These are 5 of the biggest names in this sport. What does all of this mean? And is the wrestling business good without these names?
It means those back bumps hurt. That's what that means. All right.
Well, yeah.
You see how Lita is with them ropes. She won't touch them. She will not touch them.
Oh no.
But to answer your question, Professor, yeah, like we're in the transition. And again, too, this just kind of has to like also be a reflection of us on age. Like the attitude and ruthless aggression era is over. We are now in this era where Roman Reigns is the OG locker room. And we remember when gray contacts, bulletproof shield Roman came out. And
suffering succotash.
Yeah, like even before that, like didn't say nothing. And let Dean Ambrose do the talk. Like we saw him, and then like look at the legacy he's already laid out. So it's like we're now seeing where it's like we're in, and I hate to say it like this, in this particular case, in like the next 10 to 15 years, we're the people who talk about Harley Race Hulk Hogan, while our nieces and nephews are talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin, and we like, who is this? We're here now. We're those people. You like, please remember, like Backlash 99 happened over 20 years ago. That's a whole person.
Yeah, man.
That is a whole person with a driver's license that's almost about to be able to drink.
And in college.
We're here now, but I think because like back then when it was the Attitude Era, you didn't have a lot of wrestling promotions that you could go to. Like, again, you throw a rock in any direction and you'll find yourself a wrestling show that you can go to, and you will find at least 2 to 3 people where you'll look at them and you're like, yo, that's a star right there.
Yeah.
We the unks and we the aunts, but that's a star right there. Yeah. And you'll watch them rise. So I think even with these folks leaving, this will be controversial. They have left wrestling in a way better place than when The Rock and Stone Cold left, when Hollywood had to leave, and when Flair had to leave. We are in such a phenomenal time of wrestlers now that it's really just who's going to grasp that brass ring and become the person that's going to lead everything into the next generation. We're just seeing it now in real time.
So let me ask this, because I think one of the things that I'm really, and shout out to my man Ilfam from Black Wrestling Podcast. Those are my people. I love them. So I'm kind of struck by this because, you know, you raised the point, James, about Asuka in her 40s, which is just something that is hard to conceptualize because it doesn't appear as though she ages. She doesn't move like she ages. Nothing about that gives 40s. Shout out to her also, because I think she has kept her personal life so separate that you would not have known that she's a whole mother with a whole family in that regard.
It's hard to do.
So it does lend us to ask this particular question. In a sport that is unlike basketball, football, baseball, where they're always looking for and accepting the next big thing, how hard is it, do you think, for us as wrestling fans to accept the fact that these names are leaving and the new stars are on us? How long is it going to take for people to really accept that the stars of today are the stars?
I think we're there now.
Right.
I think we're there now. How many times have we had the conversation of like, why is Punk champ? Why is this older person champ? You're holding back Braun Breaker. You're holding back Dominic Mysterio. You're holding back Bronson Reed. I don't know if we had it on here the first episode, but we've talked about how we miss how they used to take chances with new talent to be able to showcase who they were. And this WrestleMania, this past WrestleMania, that's what this one should have been. This should have been the showcase to show these are our new talents and these are who we're betting on. For you to have it to be Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton and Roman Reigns and CM Punk as your closers, it frustrated us because we're like, yo, all of this, Io Sky was not at WrestleMania. And the only way she was to come help a white woman. And we all just sitting here like, why? Like, can y'all please go home? Like, we're calling Roman Reigns the tribal nightmare now.
Y'all are.
You were. You agreed to that. We got the video, honey. You agreed to that. We still acknowledge him. We still acknowledge him. But you can at least, off the top of your head right now, name 3 people who could be world heavyweight champion right now and carrying Monday Night Raw. Dominic Mysterio would make a great world heavyweight champion right now.
I think we're seeing it. I think they recognize it. Now it's a matter of you don't want to drown the plant all at once, with a gallon of water. You know what I mean? So it's, at WrestleMania, Obafemi had the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And capitalize on the moment. He unofficially retired Brock Lesnar. That's huge. Mm-hmm. All right, we got our new beast now. Did y'all see that pop that Trick Williams got on SmackDown?
Lord. Good Lord. The visual alone.
Yes.
The visual alone.
Yes.
Good grief.
So we got one. Fatal Influence is doing their thing. Okay.
Like I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
You got it, honey. Go ahead.
No, I got excited because you mentioned that, and I was going to bring them up. But I'm also possibly thinking to what Professor was also saying. Like, I'm also thinking that maybe that's probably why they separated Stand and Deliver the way they did. Because people were really, really drawn to it at the time. So people were starting to be familiar with these faces if they weren't already, if you're just a casual, just getting into it. You know what I mean? And then now when they, seeing the receptions that they've gotten since Oba's come up, since Trick's come up, since Javon has come up, even Ethan, it was just like, oh, yes, okay, we're here. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like now the main roster was our NXT that was just passed. So it's like the wheel keeps on turning, and the same thing's going to happen as things evolve into LFG, into NXT, into main roster, and then wherever else, because it's just everywhere now. And I think it's a really cool thing to see. And especially with the way these call-ups have been, I think the ones that especially we just named highlighted and done great so far. So
one more question surrounding this, and that is, who is this transition more difficult for? When I say the transition, I mean the transition clearly to this new era of star from the previous era of star. Is it more difficult for the fan or seemingly the front office of the sport?
Definitely the front office.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always talk about how much money TKO has put into this company and what they need to make back in the first 5 years. You're too afraid. You're like me telling TKO, hey, I want Braun Breaker to main event and close out night 2 of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Braun Breaker ain't even got a chance to close out Monday Night Raw in 6 months. So you telling me that doesn't get me excited to think it's going to fill seats. You know what I know will guarantee we fill seats? We throw that tribal chief in there and CM Punk. That's why we keep going to Chicago 7 times a year instead of going anywhere else, because we know it's going to sell out because Punk's going to be there. It's the same thing like the movie industry. Like, no, we don't know if we're going to do Sinners.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know if that's gonna work. You know what we do need to do though?
right.
We need to reboot Freaky Friday and give them money, because that's gonna make us some money.
13 Fast and Furious movies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we got 13 Fast and Furiouses and 4 new shows from Fast and Furious that's about to come out on Peacock.
I stopped at 5.
I kept going. Once you start, you got to finish. It's like Twilight.
You don't. You actually don't.
Which one's 6?
You mean to tell me you didn't stop and wait to see Ludacris and Tyrese in space?
When they tied a Pontiac Fiero to a rocket? Yeah.
When they brought Letty back and she had a whole different memory or whatever the heck. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, no.
So in the spirit of obviously trying to create new stars and being able to acknowledge new stars, we get this massive announcement from John Cena that's supposed to shake up the wrestling world as we know it. The announcement is the announcement of the John Cena Classic, birthed from what happened at his retirement show at Saturday night's main event. The idea is to have up-and-coming stars from NXT battle established stars on the main roster. We don't have a lot of details other than it's going to create a new championship in WWE, and for the first time ever, the fans will be able to vote on who is the champion. Win or lose, you can become the John Cena Classic champion. Honey, I want to start with you and ask what your thoughts on this announcement is, and was it as groundbreaking as it was proposed to be?
In my personal opinion, not so much. I said this before earlier this week on kayfabe and everything, but it just seems like it's a consolation prize to make fans feel like their vote or something matters, and it's just become wrestling idol at this point. So we'll see what happens and who votes for what, and how they calculate this, how they reveal the results, or whatever's going to happen. I'm not sure, but it feels like a consolation to make us feel at ease, like we are deciding and booking, things how we would book them, but fan base. I don't know. It just seems a little to me. Wasn't what I thought it would be. Yeah.
Your thoughts on this, James?
I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Show them all the beauty
that they possess inside,
Give them a sense.
A pride. Yes.
That was good.
Rim Brown. I think all of the pinstripe suits on the East Coast have been bought by John Cena. They are out. This man is like a white bishop, and he has got all it. He and Cody are getting all the pinstripe suits. Right. Hair plugs. You do your thing, John. I had hair once. I think I think I think they saw that Saturday night's main event and his retirement and were so excited about how it came out. The production of it was stellar. All of the matches hit, and they were like, "Oh wow, look at this concept. We can take our people from NXT and put them against veterans here." Whoa. You know, like this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like this is what this like my wife, you know, calling people and telling them I'm the best husband ever because I took the trash out. Like this is what I'm like. You're supposed to do this. That's the whole. It's the point of having this. And now you're gonna say the outcome of the match doesn't matter. The winner of the match doesn't matter. You mean you can have a match where you have Otis versus Jackson Drake, and Jackson Drake loses the match, but because people like him, supposedly they're gonna vote for the loser. And the loser, even though he lost the match, could win the Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect Championship. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying not to be negative because I was negative a lot on the last podcast, but what are we doing? I think this is just an excuse to have John Cena involved with the product because like Will was talking about, you need the name and you need the money. Mm-hmm. All right. So now we can attach his name on something so we can guarantee that he'll be there when he's not doing Chrysler commercial voiceovers, and he'll be there. And which is I'm not hating on that because I would love to do that actually. But he'll be more involved in the product and we keep his name so we can get some money going. But I don't think until I see it amount to something, I don't think it's certainly not groundbreaking. It's not breaking any ground.
So I got to ask this question to you, Councilman. Does it mean anything that we have not seen any sort of follow-up already from WWE from this announcement? I mean, usually when they make an announcement, there is some sort of graphic, there is a follow-up, there is a date, there is a something. There's been zero follow-up. They barely mentioned it on the show. Does that mean anything relative to the credence of this John Cena Classic?
Before, yes, it would have meant something, but now with the way I'm seeing TKO work, no. Because again, what I'm seeing that most likely will happen is you'll continue this rollout by having John there. So it'll be, hey, John Cena's going to be at Clash of Italy, and he's going to have an announcement more on the John Cena Classic. So now, because John Cena isn't always here, that's going to make you want to be in the building when he announces the details of what the John Cena Classic is going to be, because it's his. And they're most likely going to do something where the belt is shown to everybody and how all the stuff is going to go. So they're going to make this a spectacle rather than just announcing that, hey, the John Cena Classic will take place August 14th. It's like, no, we're going to make sure John's there, roll it out, so then that way y'all continue to get excited. You want to know what really would have got us excited? It's not the John Cena Classic. You've done this before, and you could have done it again. How about Survivor Series, WWE versus NXT versus TNA? All your champions there facing one another, and at the end, war games with all three factions in there.
Worlds collide.
Well, the last time they did it, NXT looked too good.
Wait, yo,
no shade. It is no shade.
I don't know if people knew this. Brock was such a bitch that he refused to wrestle Adam Cole. Because Adam Cole was champ at the time. He said, I refuse to be in the ring with him. He was like, I don't wrestle somebody beneath me. I was like, first of all, everybody cheers for him way more than we cheer for you. Wow. We boo him more than we boo him you. Because that was the only triple threat we didn't get. And I was like, yo, you such ass for that. Because
know that
wiping
the rest was circled around his ass. That's why.
Circus. Yeah. And then too, like if you did it now with where the women are, they would have stole the show. And you don't see like, yo, I'm like, I'm gonna just throw this out. Tony D'Angelo, Mike Santana, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. Fatal 4-way. Who's the better champ?
Come on now.
You go to the IC titles, the tag titles, the women.
If you want to get funky, add AAA in there.
Yeah.
If you want to get real spicy,
I'm like, it's right there for you to still showcase young talent by being able to compete. It was like, I don't even know why they really got rid of that. I thought that was so cool. And you can still have dream matches in there.
Yes.
But again, I get what they're doing because it's like you couldn't do it with Hogan because of how controversial Hogan is, and you can't fully push it the way you want to. So it's like, yo, this is this generation's GOAT. Let's utilize him as much as we can, get historic things made with him while he's still involved in the company, and it's going to make us money. Because eventually, John Cena won't fill out seats no more.
Mm-hmm.
So let me say this. I will say, here's where there's a few thoughts I have right now.
I see.
Yeah. Like, where do I start?
We've seen it all.
Let me get my thoughts together because I
will start with this. I think there's danger in regurgitating a thing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I mean by that. Yes, we missed John Cena. We had a year and a half to prepare that he was leaving. We were sad to see him go. Some didn't like how he left. Him coming back to host WrestleMania, okay, cool. But at this point, this is starting to become like the high school student who went to college that refuses to stay gone.
Mm-hmm.
You keep coming to visit high school so much, we're going to think you still go here. And you really don't. So what that's going to mean is, and this is how this all ties together. If we're in a space where we've lost 4 or 5 major pro wrestling stars to retirement in the last 6 months, they're having to make their way out to make way for new stars. Are we in essence holding opportunities back from new stars by continuing to parade John Cena in front of us?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, let me say this. I say this very respectfully, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. The idea of a wrestling tournament called the John Cena Classic doesn't make sense to me.
Exactly.
Because we didn't know John Cena as a technician or a tactician. John Cena was an entertainer, for sure. John Cena was a superhero, for sure. That's like the Superman Classic. That doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right. You know, so if you're looking for a name, you know, let's get a perhaps a more creative name or a concept. But to do that, now, here's the other thing that's concerning to me. What's concerning to me, and I'll get off the soapbox, is WWE is the undisputed king of rollout.
Yeah.
Undisputed, and has been for many years. Whenever they mention something, like they're so good at rollout. Remember when they just started randomly flashing the Club WWE thing?
Yes.
We didn't know what it was.
Yes.
Our brains immediately went to what they did with the Wyatt Six. Like, okay, what is this about to be? This is about to be great. They do that very well. The fact that there is zero follow-up, there's not a graphic we can see of any kind. And there's not a date, there's not a location, there's not a concept. There aren't brackets. We don't know how many people are involved in this. We have no rules. We have nothing.
Right.
That frightens me because what it actually says to me is I don't know that WWE is fully backing this idea.
I don't think they are.
And that's the message I got from it. And I'm like, You mean to tell me John Cena went out there with a half-baked idea that didn't have the full backing of WWE? We saw nothing. And I cannot overlook that. Because for everything they've ever mentioned, think about this. In the same show, they announced AAA doing a 2-night Triple Mania. And they had graphics.
Yeah.
And they had information. Even though they didn't have a location for night 1, they told us all of that. All of that was in our face on the screen. The idea that they just let John Cena verbally say this, they didn't put anything on a lower third. They did nothing. So I'm concerned that this idea has not been fully baked. This is like a cake that is in the oven that is still cake batter, and somebody took it out because they were hungry. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned. So
I will say you said it though, Professor. Like you said, WWE is good at doing that. TKO, however, is not good at doing that. And what it proves is there's a rift between the two.
And wow. And I would love to dig deeper. I promise you. We got so many of these.
I'll just give you one example because I heard this and I don't know how true this is. At WrestleMania, night 1's lineup is fully TKO. Night 2 is Hunter and the rest of the crew. They developed night 2, TKO developed night 1. And you see the differences between night. This is the first time we've been like, yo, night 1 and night 2 were 2 completely different shows.
I smell trouble in paradise.
I'm frightened by all of this. I'm
sorry, go ahead. No, I was gonna say really quick though, doesn't it also go against like John Cena and the way, like it's called the John Cena Classic, but it's like there was no classic, and he was like he did specify that he wanted to provide an opportunity like he got and everything like that, but it wasn't done in the form of a classic or a tournament or a King of the Ring tournament. It was just a shot in the dark at that time.
If I'm being honest, I think they pivoted before he. I think he originally was to go out to promote WWE Club, and they realized that wasn't going to do it. And I think they came up with that last night, because why would you mention you getting choked out by Gunther and having to explain how it went over so you could fix it? You could have did that at WrestleMania.
Right.
Why did you now choose to come up with this thing to say? It's like, yo, y'all, this was not the original plan. And that's what I got off of that. This is not what y'all original announcement was going to be. Y'all showed it to a focus group and realized this is not going to get the pop that we needed to get. Because even the Classic did not get the pop they were looking for.
So a couple of things really quickly. Shout out, cousin Ron is in the building. My cousin, I love you. And Cockamamie Plan, imagine that. And my literal blood brother is back. Brendan, shout out to you. And Trouble in Paradise was a terrible show. Yes, it was. So really quickly, and then we're going to jump off of this. Do you remember when they had the tournament for John Cena's final opponent?
Yes.
The announcement of that was well produced.
Yes.
Yep.
It was a John Cena voiceover. It was a whole visual, a whole graphic. Tournament brackets, even though we didn't fully have the names yet, but we had details, we had pictures, we had all the fact that none of that happened, it tells you a lot. Yeah. And we're gonna see what that means. We're gonna switch gears really quickly, very quickly. TNA, since we mentioned TNA, a big story has been happening over there, and I don't know if people have been paying attention. Leon Slater, the X Division champion, was literally slated to become the longest reigning X Division champion had he held that title to say today. But on Thursday night, he had a match against former 205 Live champion Cedric Alexander. And Cedric Alexander won the TNA X Division champion, allowing Slater to have the tie, literally tied, for the longest reign with Austin Aries. Simple question. Should the youngest in charge, Leon Slater, have become the longest reigning X Division champion? What say you, James?
Nah.
Wow.
Yeah, your eyebrows touched your hairline when I said that, and that's the exact reaction I was going for. Listen, TNA needs Leon Slater.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just need him in the X Division. They need him as the bell cow for TNA. If he's the longest reigning X Division champion, okay, that's a great accolade that he could have. What's it doing for Austin Aries right now? Not a thing. If he's the longest reigning TNA heavyweight champion, there's a better distinction. And I believe they're moving him, or they should. Okay. While WWE was trying to pillage all they could, they were trying to get they were trying to get the guy. And Carlos Silva was like, listen, y'all have been doing whatever y'all wanted to do with us. Y'all can't have him. I'm sorry. He's too important to the product. All right. They have got to build the whole thing around that guy right there. And he deserves that upper echelon. Not discrediting the validity and the prestige of the X Division Championship. Okay. But it is not the premier championship in TNA. He needs to be the premier guy. And quite possibly, this is two things. This is honoring Cedric Alexander, who deserves to be a champion at some type of level, because he is that guy. He has been that guy for a long time. Absolutely. One of the best in-ring workers you're going to find. But if this is promotion to the next level, and we're saying TNA is going to be Leon Slater's company the way it was AJ Styles' company 20 years ago, then I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
What say you, honey?
I would have to agree. I was in and out with TNA with everything that's been going on recently, but I think it's really a really cool concept even to put Leon Slater into the title. He is important to the product. He has proven himself very worthy of becoming that upper echelon type champion. And that I've always heard, a good friend of ours, Mayor, say that there's money in the chase. So I think this will do well for Leon Slater. And like James said, Cedric Alexander, because I don't think Cedric Alexander has fully gotten the flowers that he really deserves, because he did well with the Cruiserweight division and all of that in the 205 Live. He was such a highlight.
So speaking of Cedric Alexander, what do you, Councilman, think Cedric Alexander defeating Leon Slater for the X Division Championship means for TNA and means for Cedric Alexander?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wait, what is happening?
I thought he was mute for a second. I'm like,
you'll get another banger of a match between him and Mustafa Ali. That's it.
oh,
I don't give me the last great promo Cedric Alexander cut in TNA. Give me the last time you were like, you know who I can't wait to see? Cedric Alexander. I'm not saying it cannot happen. I just do not see where they're going to push him as far as champ. Not saying he can't do it, not saying it's not there. It's the company I don't trust. I do not trust that you will give him the creative that he needs to go full out. That's what I fear about this.
I can tell you right now that Lovely is somewhere firing darts.
Oh yeah,
right now. I can tell you now, she is firing darts.
I mean, because y'all saying that, and then James said he's gonna be TNA champion, and I just he is the face and who's gonna carry the company, and I just have something simple for that.
Wow. Okay. Well, y'all gotta let this, like the professor saying, y'all gotta let this cook. Y'all gotta let this cook. I need to see Leon Slater in the trenches.
I need to know what happens when his boundaries are pushed. You are great in the ring, but where I need to see everything. And I can be also very biased because he won't admit he's Kevin Knight. It could also them are the same people. I don't care what nobody say. That is the exact same person.
Wow.
Professor, you were there.
He's holding on to that.
You seen it. I'm telling you, I cannot make this up. Leon Slater came and said, "What's up?" to Bonner. That man walked behind them doors, came back in a purple shirt and said he was Kevin Knight. I was like, who the fuck does he think he fooling? He got the same pants on. Wait a minute. I'm like, yo, it's the same shoes.
I can confirm they are not the same person. I have met both of them, dealt with both of them. They are not the same person.
That's hilarious.
Never seen.
But I will say this: I do love that we're in a world where they are both thriving in great places. I mean, think about it. You've got Kevin Knight, TNT champion in AEW. He's in the world title picture. You've got, this huge reign that we just saw, of course, with Leon Slater. You've got Cedric Alexander, now the X Division champion. And then last night, this picture starts floating around, coming out of Ring of Honor, of the pure champion, Lee Moriarty, the then 6-man champions, which was the infantry and, let's call it STP, right? You've got, of course, Athena as the world champion. You've got the world television champion as Red Velvet. Now the men's television champion as AR Fox. This incredible picture of Black excellence coming out of all places, Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow the history of Ring of Honor, you understand why I say that.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the pressing question. With all of this Black excellence happening in Ring of Honor and their big super card of honor last night, Caprice Coleman, who has been holding down the fort on commentary for years there, are you now more apt to watch Ring of Honor? James. Go ahead.
I'll just make it quick. I've always been wanting to see Ring of Honor. I don't know why it's not televised or why it's not put up. Like the fact that I don't get to have a straight place to go have seen Athena's whole championship run is kind of a crime for her. Like, this woman has done an amazing job. And then, even for the intro sheet, shout out to Shane Taylor. Like, why are y'all not televising Ring of Honor? But hopefully this is what shakes it. This is what, I've said it before a long time ago. We've been needed a new nation of domination. And I think you may have just got that with this picture.
Honey, are you more apt to watch Ring of Honor in light of the image that we've seen floating around in the last 24 hours?
Absolutely. I mean, I was already pretty into Ring of Honor in the last couple of years. I mean, especially with conversing with you folks and continuously doing this. I'm learning something new every day about it. But with this, especially with that picture, it's so important, especially in Ring of Honor, because now it's that Black talent is no longer just the exception. They are now becoming the standard. And why not put that on television? You know what I mean? And it's so great to see because it's something worth celebrating, and it's something that it's not being manufactured for a moment. We're not just seeing it in Ring of Honor. We're seeing it with other promotions as well, with the likes of Oba Femi and Javon Evans and Trick Williams at the forefront and being the new ones on the scene, but old to some and new to a lot. But I mean, it definitely puts a lot of eyes on the product again, and I'm always willing to watch.
James, you want to get about $9.99 for Ring of Honor's paywall?
It's another app. Hey.
Let's see. I'm about to get out of my ESPN Unlimited subscription, so might as well.
Oh wow!
Because I'm not paying $30 a month to see Danhausen and a bunch of midgets wrestle on the PLE. So, I'm sorry, little people. Yeah.
They actually want to be called midgets.
Okay, that's the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
All people told us we couldn't call them that. They didn't ask them if that was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever y'all are. Okay. All right.
Whatever y'all are.
Have baked humans.
I don't think they want to be said like that.
Wow.
No, maybe not like that. Maybe not like that.
Maybe not like that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow.
The House of Hornswoggle, whatever, whatever we're doing. I don't want to pay $30 a month to see Kit Wilson go up to this box and all of a sudden a whole gang of them pop out and you just cut Kairi Sane. No, I don't want to. I want to see,
Understandable.
I mean, but you didn't enjoy El Torito when he was there?
No.
Oh, well, that's who that was, by the way.
I know. God bless him.
You didn't
No.
like We TLC?
No.
James, I'm gonna take you to a midget match. I promise you, I'm gonna change your.
What you
whole
will
mind.
not do is take you to a midget match.
You
Listen,
have not lived.
I would rather watch.
midget
I would
wrestlers.
rather watch Precious undressed than to see a midget match. I'm not doing this.
Oh my God.
He signed off. He disappeared.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
That being said, yes, I'm watching Ring of Honor.
Okay. Very, very good. So before we go, what is profound to me, and we started the show talking about just superstars retiring and how many years have been removed from eras and the like. Very wild thing happened, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. 30 years ago, this month, we are almost 30 years to the day of Scott Hall walking on to WCW Nitro in his jean vest and jean pants, walking down the crowd, through the crowd, into the ring, ultimately signaling the start of this invasion and the embryo, or the embryonic stages, the embryonic stages of what we now know as the NWO. We are saying that doesn't sound right, but it's true. We're 30 years removed from that. How significant, now that we've had a lot of time since that, how significant was that moment of Scott Hall walking onto WCW fresh out of his WWE contract? Let's talk about, here we are. What is the significance of that moment? I'll start with you, honey.
I feel like we're just at 25 years. Like last year, like, is it me? Like somehow we jumped time, but I honestly remember sitting at home and when watching it happen live. Like, I remember sitting with Dad and like, what the heck is this? And we had known, obviously there wasn't social media then, and as heavy as it is now, even when you had to find out your results from the next show or in the back of the newspaper in the wrestling section, if they had it, Scott Hall appearing on WCW, because it didn't just change WCW, it changed the whole presentation of wrestling as a whole. Like, it kickstarted so much from that moment. It started the talk. As soon as you see, like, are they invading? Like, before there was even like a mention of a war, like, it's just that it was like the anti-hero faction formula. You didn't know what the heck was going on, and we were just seeing him fresh out of WWE. So it's like, how did he do that literally the next day? And it's still one of the best stories and best angles and influential moments of wrestling today that kickstarted so many things. It was just like the start of the spoke of that domino effect, where all you had to do was flick, like, the V for Vendetta scene in the movie. It was the first hit of that domino that literally trickled on and transcended the wrestling business as a whole. And honestly, there's never been anything like it since. Never been anything like it since. That level of cultural disruption and pop culture was epic, to say the least.
There was a lot of moves and surprises that showed up during that era of WCW Nitro. Was this moment the most significant of those jumps that we saw from WWE to WCW? What do you think? Was this the most significant jump that happened perhaps ever? And this question's for you, Councilman.
Oh, muted.
He's muted because he's still shocked from what happened in the last few moments. So
yeah, the visual James gave me, you'll get your receipt. You'll definitely get your receipt. Yeah, it was the most pivotal. It was so impactful. Me and my dad watched wrestling on Mondays. We thought we were on the wrong channel. Like he liked to, he'll go like flip through both of them, but he liked WCW more. And he saw that, he was like, "Oh, I thought we was like WCW," and he hit it. And we was like, "Wait, well, no, there goes Sean. Hold on, go back." I like that. Say WCW on that lower right, but that's Razor Ramon.
Double take.
He came out and he was like, "Yeah, you don't know why I'm here." And I'm like,
"You all know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here."
I was like, "Yo, is this really happening?"
Yeah.
And it was just like, because like again, you saw it with Lex Luger and stuff like that, and then you even saw it with Hogan, and it wasn't as crazy because we knew Hogan left. So it was just kind of like, oh, but that was kind of our first thing of like, oh, okay, you can sign with another company and do stuff like that. That's interesting. But to like, I just saw you 3 days ago. And now you walking down WCW's ramp? Like, I think that was that to me, and you know, I might be wrong because you know I'm not in this story, but I'm like, that was the first forbidden door right there. I think that created the forbidden door from which we've now been using for decades now. When Razor Ramon walked down them stairs and addressed everybody, "I'm here." Crazy.
James, I'm going to ask the question. Is this, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we
can hear you.
There we go. All right. So, here we go. So here's the question. Is this moment of Scott Hall walking down the audience, walking through the audience on Nitro, is this the most significant moment in the history of what we now call the Attitude Era?
No, it led to it though. You don't get the leg drop from Hogan if you don't have this moment. The Hogan leg drop changed the game completely. But this now sparks the flame of it. All right. Before this, and we talked about the back and forth, like, you know, the debut of Nitro. I was a WCW guy. So, you know, we've seen these guys go back and forth. The major is WWF at the time. Number 2 is WCW. Distant third is AWA. A lot of the guys from WWF came from AWA. Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall. Scott Hall actually looked younger as Razor Ramon than he did when he was Scott Hall AWA because he had a mustache. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Kevin Nash, so many of them came from AWA. But we had never seen Scott Hall in WCW. You know, we've seen Lex Luger go back and forth from WWF to WCW. We've seen Ric Flair. We've seen the Horsemen do it. We'd never seen Scott Hall in WCW. And he was looking like Razor Ramon, using the accent, and it seemed like a total interruption of the show. If WCW, because we can go all day about their failures, but they nailed this. Good God, they nailed this. Because now the U.S. wrestling style, heel versus face, the morality play, you know, very rarely did wrestlers go by their real names. Okay. Even if they did have their real name, there was some kind of change to it. Like Ric Flair is now Richard Flair, you know, Arn Anderson is not his actual real name, so wrestlers didn't have their real names. Lines were blurred. He comes into the ring looking like Razor Ramon, but that's Scott Hall. What's happening here? Mm-hmm. What in the world is going on? And it made you tune in to everything. It made you grab that paper that Honey was talking about. It made you go get the next edition of Sports Pro Wrestling Illustrated to read about it. You couldn't wait to see what's going to happen. And then the end of Nitro, he comes up and goes, grabs Eric Bischoff, and then Sting comes up and slaps him. Oh, we got some stuff going on here, because now it looks like WWF is invading WCW. Yep. We don't have the intel that we have now. We didn't have the internet like we have now. It's looking like to us, WWF, and we've been dreaming about this. We dreamed about this in the 80s. We dreamed about this in the 90s. We want to see these two big companies go head to head. We didn't know he was already signed to WCW. We didn't know that. But the way it was portrayed is like we got war for real.
Yeah.
And so it led to it. It kicked off, though, the Bash at the Beach. That's when the game changed for good. But you have to have something to kickstart it, and this was definitely the Kickstarter.
So many thoughts. We could probably have a whole show on this, and we might do that. Shout out to Lovely, who is rocking with us. Lovely, just go back and watch. That's all I'm going to say.
I said what I said, Lovely.
Oh, my God.
Our
first inter-family war is coming. I'd love to hear from all of you guys in the chat and those who will check this out in socials, your thoughts on the significance of Scott Hall showing up in WCW as Scott Hall. I personally fear that we may never get another moment like that in pro wrestling, because, and I don't have time to get on this soapbox, because the fans want to be too smart. The fans want to know everything. You got to know when somebody's leaving and when they're coming and what made that work was because we didn't have access to any of that information.
Yep.
And because WCW played it so well, where they left it in ambiguity. They didn't give him a name. We went almost 4 weeks before they asked the question, are you guys associated with WWE? It was so bad, or it was so good, that WWE was just like, oh no, Razor Ramon and Diesel will be coming on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's looking like, okay, what's going to happen? And you now have a fake Razor and a fake Diesel.
Terrible.
WWE sued WCW over this. Like, that's how well this was done. And I fear that because the fans want so much intel and they're not willing to just sit back and enjoy the show, that we will not get moments like this anymore, because I don't know what you have to do. I mean, I still don't know who's sitting inside these companies giving out information. Like that's a whole nother story for another day. I don't know who's doing it.
It's the same thing with money. It's just the temptation of it. That's it. Like the temptation of, hey, I know something no one else knows, and there's a platform with millions of people. I could tell and get this out. And I'm the first one to report it, and I can get all of the traffic that I need. When you have everybody with that at the palm of their hand being able to do that, like you said, that's when these type of moments become so horrible to keep, because it could just be it could be the janitor passing by like, is that John Cena in the AEW building? Well, you ain't trying to tell my nephew what I saw.
Yeah.
And now it's out.
Yeah.
We don't see this in any other sport, but be that as it may. All right, guys, our time is up. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. This has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, this is just, I love when we get together to do this. It just always feels right. It's always good. I appreciate everybody who has come through and rocked with us. Very, very quickly, how can the people find you all? Councilman, how can they find you?
You can find me at Leon Slater as Kevin Knight on all socials. I will not stop. this campaign of this conspiracy theory until I see both of them in the room at the same time. Until then, that's the same person.
I need to see if we can get them both on the show. This is great. This is great. Honey, how can the people find you?
Everybody can find me on all the socials, everything Wrestling with Honey. And everything wrestling with Honey. Find me on the Kayfabe podcast on Thursdays, WWT buzzing around Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
James, how can the people find you?
You can't find me, but you can find Lovely on Twitter, and you should, because she had a little beef with Nikita Lyons, which is absolutely hilarious. So y'all need to go check that out.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Here's one thing I love about Lovely. She has no problem speaking her mind to whomever, and she might be the third of the Street Profits because she wants all the smoke.
I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Of course, you guys can find me at Bonnerfide across all the socials. You can follow this podcast at The Faction Show. We are, of course, part of the Bonnerfide Podcast Network. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, of course, at Bonnerfide Media. All the things, all the places. I love all of you who have come to join us live and those who will join us after this is off. So whenever you're watching this, I greatly appreciate you guys. And we'll be back next time with more. Oh, also, make sure you're following us at The Faction Show. We've got clips of the show on there, and a lot of people are involved in these conversations. And I'm sure today's show will bring about more discussion. All right. Until next time, guys, take it easy. Peace. This is The Faction Reloaded.
Stop. Nah, wait a minute.